Welcome to the CEC Gurukul lecture series. In this series, we are discussing the topic of process costing in the cost accounting. So, in today's lecture, my focus will be on discussion on joint products and BOI products. And what is joint product? If a raw material is being processed and during the process, the output which you get is of various different type of products which are almost of equivalent value. When I say equivalent value, it doesn't mean exactly the same value, but which are of equivalent value that is more or less same, and various products are being produced, are being come out of that process, that the various product that comes out is called joint product. So, the term joint product is used for two or more products of almost equal value which are simultaneously produced from the same manufacturing process and the same raw material. So, here you note here that there are two things important. Your input is same, your raw material is same, the other is your manufacturing process is same, and of the same manufacturing process from the same raw material you get various products, and the various product which you get is, we can call them joint products. So, joint product thus represents two or more product separated in the course of processing, each product being in such proportion and of such a nature that no single one of them can be regarded as a main product. See, when we will be talking of byproduct and other things, scrap, waste and all those things, at that point of time it will become more clear to you that value of the product that is being produced in that process is a very significant part for determining whether it is a joint product, whether it is a byproduct or what it is, right. So, here the important thing is that the product which you get various products and they are of equivalent value, they are of same value, right, and they have come out of the same process. Like for example, if in the oil refinery business you get petrol, means when you extract crude oil from the oil fields, of that crude oil, when you process that crude oil, right, in the refinery, and you get petrol, you get diesel, you get naphtha, you get kerosene and various other products. So, these products are called joint products. Again I am saying, like suppose you extract crude oil, right, from the oil fields, right. So, ONGC and all these firms extract crude oil, right, and when they have their refineries, in these refineries they process it, and the product which they get when they process this crude oil, they get diesel, petrol, naphtha, kerosene, coal and various other things, right. So, all these things, petrol, diesel, naphtha, kerosene etc. are called joint products, and the value of these products is more or less same, right. I mean, if you take in terms of quantity multiplied by the price of that, so the quantity which you get of petrol, the quantity and the price multiplied by the price of you get diesel, of naphtha, they are more or less. You may say that kerosene is cheaper than petrol, but of the crude oil when you process you get more kerosene as compared to the petrol, right. So, the value comes to be more or less same. So, that is basically these all are called joint products. In a flour mill, when the joint products are, you get brown flour, you get white flour, you get animal feeding stuffs. So, these are called joint products. Means in a flour mill, when the wheat is being processed, right, when you're processing the wheat, so you get white flour, brown flour, animal feeding, all these are called joint products. So, the problem here is that when you get joint products, how you process the cost of these joint products. There are two different stages. One stage is that up till the stage when these products are being separated. I said in case the processing is same, raw material is same, the processing is same. Up till a stage the processing is same. So, the cost incurred on processing will remain the same. So, but the product which you are getting is like in the oil refinery, we have just said you will be getting naphtha, you will be getting diesel, you will be getting petrol, you will be getting kerosene. The question is how you proportion, how you multiply, how you calculate the cost of each of these. So, joint or common cost are those costs which are incurred before the stage of manufacturing at which the product gets separated. That is, before getting separated, the cost that is common for all these by joint products, how will apportion these costs to different products that is you are being producing. And the other cost is subsequent cost, that is the cost being incurred after it is being separated. Like when you are refining the crude oil, you at a up till particular stage of refining, you get these diesel, petrol and all these things. So, once you separate then the each of the cost incurred on each of these 4 joint products which we have just talked about, then they will be charged directly to that product only. Means after the separation stage, the cost that is being incurred for refining the petrol, that will be directly charged to the petrol. The cost that will be incurred for refining the diesel, that will be directly charged to the diesel account, right. But the cost that is being incurred before the separation stage, which is called common cost, that is a question of discussion, that is a separate point. So, what it means is there are 2 costs, the joint cost and the subsequent cost. Subsequent cost are those costs which are incurred after the separation or split off point. So, the distinction between joint cost and the subsequent cost is important, because when accounting is for products, the joint cost are the main problem. The subsequent cost is not a problem, joint costs are the how you deal it, this is the issue. So, this is because joint cost cannot be traced to individual product, and the cost accountant is faced with the problem of apportioning the joint cost incurred to various joint products produced. What it means is up till the separation stage, whatever the cost has been incurred, how, in what basis or what will be your method of apportioning these joint costs to these different products, this is a question of discussion, right. So, the very characteristics of the joint product is that sales value of each of the joint products are relatively high, and none of the joint product are significantly greater in value than the other joint product. This point I have already told you also, that all these joint products are of almost same value. The joint products may require further processing or may be sold directly after the split off. That is, I said these oil refining business, let me continue with the oil refining business. In the oil refining business, when you are processing and you are getting the petrol, diesel, kerosene, right. So, when these products are separated, does this product require further processing, or can it be sold at the same stage, in the same position at which it is being separated? This is the point. So, joint products requires simultaneous common processing. The manufacturer has little or no control over the relative quantities of the various products that will result. In case of joint product, because emphasis is not on any one product, it is necessary to analyze the total cost so as to determine separately the cost of each individual joint product. There are various methods of allocating the joint cost of production to the joint product. Means that whatever the joint products has taken place, the different joint products, on what basis you will apportion. One of the method which is very commonly being used is called market price method, right. So, how you deal in the market price method? This market price method is the most common method employed for apportion of joint cost to joint products up to the split off point. Friends, this should be very clear in your mind that what we are talking is that I am saying there are 2 costs. One is the common cost, other is the subsequent cost. Common cost is the cost which is being incurred on all the product that is being produced from the raw material, right, on all the product at the same stage, means simultaneously. Now, I am processing X raw material. From the X raw material, I am getting 4 joint products A, B, C, D, and I have incurred 1 lakh rupees cost for processing this X raw material. So, this 4 joint products which I have got A, B, C, D, and the common cost incurred is 1 lakh. Now, the question is how I will apportion these costs. One of the method is called market price method. This method is commonly being used for calculating the cost of joint products, right. The market price may be either at the split off point or after further processing. Means when you say market price is the commonly method, market price of which stage? There are 2 stages. One is the stage where the split off has taken place. So, should we take the split off stage market price, or should we take the market price of the product that is being finally produced in that factory or in that process? So, after further processing, in case of the method 1, costs are apportioned to the joint products according to the proportion of total selling price of each of the product. Means if there are 2 methods, I said, that is, one is the first method is that at the split off point, the other is after further processing. So, how you will deal it, this is the point. However, where the market price at the split off is not known, means sometime you do not know at the point is split off what is the market price, because you only know that after the further processing is being done at what price it will be saleable, right. So, where the market price at the split off is not known, second method is adopted. In case of this method, the selling price of the product are reduced by the cost of manufacturing, because the split off point is considered as the basis for allocating of joint cost. Now, let us take an example. With this example, it will be more clear to you. A total joint cost of product A, B and C till the split off is rupees 14. What you are given is that this is the common cost of A, B, C, that till it is being split off on the 3 joint product which we are getting is A, B, C. On these 3 joint product, the common cost is 14 rupees, and the market price of each of these joint product is given. The market price of these products is 6 rupees, 9 rupees, 19 rupees respectively. That is 6 for A, 9 for B and 19 for C. Cost of manufacturing beyond the split off point are 2 rupees in case of product A, 1 rupee in case of product B and 3 rupees in case of product C. Now, what we have to do, the problem before us is we have to allocate the cost by the market price method. Let us understand the question clearly, that in this example what we are given is there are 3 products, joint products A, B, C. The common cost is 14 rupees. The selling price of each of these is being given, and further processing cost of each of these 3 is given. Now, the question is how you will allocate the common cost. Let us see how we solve it. So, here I have tried to solve this, that there are 3 products A, B, C, right. Market price of the joint product, we have calculated the market price, means it is given in the example, our example, that market price of A. When I say market price after further processing price, this is given an example. I said there are 2 stages. One is the market price of the split off stage, and the other is market price of the finished product which you will sell, means the final product. So, final product A, B, C, the selling price of each of these is 6 rupees, 19 rupees and 19 rupees. And you are also given that after the split off, the cost of manufacturing beyond split off is 2 for A, 1 for B and 3 for C, right. So, what is the market price before split off? So, for this what we will do is that market price of the joint product minus the cost incurred after the split off, that is 6 minus 2, 4 rupees, 9 minus 1, 8 rupees, 19 minus 3 is 16 rupees. Friends, this is very important. If the market selling price is given on the joint product, it is not the price of the split off stage, it is the price at the final stage. So 6,919 is the final price of the, if you will sell it in the market after further processing, this will be the selling price. You are not being given the price at the split off stage. So what we will do is that we will deduct the cost incurred after the split off on each of these products, which is 213 in our example. So I have deducted this 2 rupees from 6 rupees, 1 rupee from 9 rupee and 3 rupees from 19 rupees. What I got is market price of manufacturing beyond split off point. So 4 rupees, 8 rupees, 16 rupees, right. In this proportion, we are saying that we will allocate the common cost. And what is common cost? In the beginning of this question, in this example, the very first line says total joint cost of product A, B, C till the split off are rupees 14. So we have to divide this 14 rupees among the 3 different joint products that we are producing. And since we are following market price method, so in the market price method, we have got the market price of A, B, C, 4 rupees, 8 rupees, 16 rupees. So I will calculate the proportion of it. So 4 by 28, 1 by 7 I can say, 8 by 28 I can say 2 by 7 and 16 I will say 4 by 7. So in this ratio of market price after deducting the rate of cost, right, that is 4 is to 8 is to 16. In this proportion, that is 1 by 7, 2 by 7, 4 by 7, I will allocate the cost of 14 rupees, which is a common cost for all these 3. So 1 by 7 of 14 rupees comes to be 2, 2 by 7 of 14 rupees comes to be 4 and 4 by 7 of 14 rupees comes to be 8. So this way we have allocated the 14 rupees common cost which we have incurred for the 3 products. So friends, I have discussed only one method of the joint product. There are various other methods, but I am not taking those methods because this is the method which is most commonly being used for dividing the common cost. So this is the way you treat the cost of the joint cost of the joint products, right. So now after talking of joint products, we will talk of byproducts. Byproducts are products of relatively small value which are incidentally and unavoidably produced in the course of manufacturing the same product. Friends, when I talked about byproducts, I said when I talked about joint products, what is joint product? Joint products are the product that is being produced in the same manufacturing process of the same raw material and the product which you get are of relatively same value. Here I am saying the byproducts are incidentally and unavoidably produced in the course of manufacturing the main product, right. So these byproducts are of less value as compared to the joint products. They are incidentally produced. They come out of the production of those joint products. They are called byproducts. For example, in sugar mills, the main product is sugar. But when you produce sugar, in any how you produce sugar, you basically you crush sugar cane or you crush sugar beet, and in different part of the country, in some part of the country that by crushing the sugar beet you get sugar. In some part of the country you crush the sugar cane and you get sugar, right. But in all this process you get molasses. Molasses is of very small value as compared to the value of the sugar. So the value of the molasses, I will call it a byproduct. So molasses, in any sugar industry, molasses becomes a byproduct. We were talking of the oil refinery business, right. So in the oil refinery business, I say, you get petrol, you get diesel, you get all these things. So these are joint product. But while you refine it, you get certain small amount of gases, you get coal, you get tar, and you all these are called byproduct. So byproducts are oil cake produced in the extraction of edible oil. See, suppose you are extracting edible oil, means which is eatable oil, right. So you get oil cakes, that is a byproduct. In cotton seed produced in cotton textile industry. So this cotton seed is a very small value of in the cotton textile industry. These are called byproducts. Sale value of these byproducts are much less as compared to the main product. This how you distinguish between joint products and the byproduct? I'll say basically the value of the product is the determining point of saying whether it is a joint product or it is a byproduct. You may say that byproduct is a incidental product, but significantly basically the criteria of distinguishing between joint product and the main product is the value of the product which you are producing. Joint product, there are good value, there are reasonably significant value of all the product. Byproduct, there are very small value. So byproduct may be those sold in their original form without further processing, or those which require further processing in order to be saleable. So what it means is that sometime in some firms, in some industries, that byproducts are sold as it is without further processing, but in some industries the further processing is required, and then we dispose of these byproducts. So byproduct should not be confused with the waste or scrap, right? Scrap is also different from byproduct in the sense that it is the leftover part of the raw material, whereas byproduct are different from the material which went into the production process, right. So there is a difference between the scrap and the byproduct. Scrap is also the byproduct in the sense that they are left over of the raw material, but the value of scrap is certainly significantly lower as compared to the value of byproduct, right. Small pieces of wood left in the furniture, like suppose in a furniture industry, right, when you are cutting wood, you are cutting timber for making furniture, right. So at that stage small pieces of left are left, and these small pieces are sold in the market. That is called scrap, right. They are not byproduct, they are called scrap. When you are making, say in the utensil industry, you are cutting the metal sheets, you are cutting the steel sheets, right, and the side cuttings which you get is called scrap, because that is being disposed of in the market without further processing. And one thing is very important, that byproduct can be further processed. It can be sold at the same without further processing, or it can be sold in the market after processing. But scrap is not being further processed. It is sold in the market as it is basis. So where minor chemicals having some value emerging from a chemical process are classified as byproduct. Sale value of scrap is relatively less. I told you that this value is the main determining point of determining byproduct and joint product. Similarly, the scrap is also of relatively small value as compared to the value of the byproduct. Byproduct can be dealt in the cost accounting in two different ways, right. How you will deal in the cost accounting, the value of the scrap, value of the byproduct which you get, right, how you deal it. Where this is important, because as in the process costing you should know how you will treat the price of the value of the byproduct, where the byproduct are of small sales value. In such a case, it is considered uneconomical and impractical to attempt an apportion to the byproducts any part of the joint cost or production up to the point of split off. What I am saying is that if the sale value of the byproduct is very small, then whatever the common cost that has been incurred, right, for getting this byproduct, it is impracticable to try to apportion, try to distinguish the different byproducts which you get, what is the cost incurred on each of the product. So it is not good, because the time involved and the cost involved of calculating the cost will be more than the sales value. So it is impractical when the value of the byproduct is the sales value of the byproduct is very small. The amount realized by the sale of the byproduct may be dealt in any of the following two ways. It may be credited to the process account, that when you prepare the process account, what you do is that you directly credit the sale value of the scrap, right, of the byproduct. So it may be credited to the process in which the byproduct has arisen. Due allowances of course will be made for any handling charge or expenses incurred in affecting the sale of the byproduct. That is, whatever the cost incurred for selling or handling the byproduct, that will be debited to the process account, and the sale value of the byproduct will be credited to the process account. The second method is preferred to the first method because it attempts to confine the cost of the process so that relating to the main product, right. So normally we use second method. In case the byproduct requires further processing before it can be disposed of, such cost, that is after the split off, if the byproduct requires further processing, we have discussed the stage where the byproduct has not been further processed. So, if it is being further processed, it can be disposed of. Such cost should be deducted from the saleable value of the byproduct. Whatever the sales value of byproduct is, you deduct the cost incurred in further processing from the sale value, and the balance should be credited to the profit and loss account of the relevant process account, as the case may be, right. Where byproduct are of considerable sales, up till now we have discussed where the byproduct have small value. Now, if the byproduct are of significant sales value, where byproduct are of considerable total value, it will be proper to find out the exact cost of the byproduct, thus treating them as joint product. This will require apportionment of the joint cost. The way we have apportioned the joint cost, similarly we will apportion the joint cost of the byproduct, right. So, we will apportion the joint cost of the products up to the split off point. The cost of the byproduct up to the split off point will be debited to a byproduct and credited to the main product or the relevant process account. Any cost of further processing the byproduct will be debited to the byproduct account. This account will be credited with the sale proceed of the byproduct, and any profit or loss will be transferred to the costing profit and loss. Simply, I would say you debit the cost incurred, further processing cost, and you credit the sales value, and the difference of the two will be credited to the costing profit and loss account. So, thank you friends. So, in this way, now we have completed the process costing. We have discussed each and every element of the process costing of normally which we expect from an undergraduate student. Thank you very much.